Welcome to this evening's public input meeting with respect to the pickup drop-off alternatives that are being proposed by the Eastwood Elementary School through Granite School District. We welcome you to this meeting. We appreciate you taking the time to view this video presentation, after which, when you are done and have the information that you need, we would invite you to provide us with the input that we seek with respect to the proposed alternatives. As you are likely aware, Granite School District is looking to enhance the safety of our students in the drop-off area, as well as reduce traffic and other impediments on the local neighbors and neighboring streets. The project scope of the area runs from the map that you can see on the slide and presentation. Granite School District is not traffic safety experts, so we utilize outside contractors who do provide traffic safety expertise to come and provide studies and conduct those studies and develop alternatives and proposals that will help us with these types of projects. In this particular case, we've utilized JUB engineers, and we thank them for their assistance in developing these alternatives in this presentation for you this evening. With a little respect to the background of the project and in developing alternatives for this project, the engineers conducted 2 field visits to gather traffic data, including busing, automobile, cycling, and pedestrian traffic. These are the times those visits were conducted, as well as the dates. As you can see on the map, there are several critical intersections that were studied, in addition to the walkways that approach the school. There's also a bike lane that needed consideration along Wasatch Boulevard, which was also part of this study. Field evaluation of existing traffic circulation as well as traffic data collection were conducted on those proposed dates. But in addition to looking at those studies, there were also some critical rules or considerations for the design that ultimately eliminated a lot of proposals that came through as part of other input that we've received from the community. And we've looked at a wide variety of potential alternatives for this drop-off, but we needed an alternative that met these criteria. The student drop-off will never require a student to cross traffic to reach the school. That means that those drop-offs need to be designed for the students to exit on the right side of the vehicle directly onto a walkway, which will allow them to enter into the school property or into the school itself. We don't want them getting out of the driver's side of the vehicle, walking through traffic, walking through a parking lot, as is currently the situation, to be able to get into the school. Obviously provides enhanced safety for the students. The parent drop-off needs to be separate from the bus drop-off for a myriad of reasons. The drop-off zones would not include parking, as this currently presents too many conflict points and hazards for our pedestrians, including students, and even our patrons walking into the school at the beginning or the end of the school day. We want the queue of waiting traffic to not back up into the public roadways and should reduce traffic backups in the surrounding neighborhoods. Currently, we have a situation where the status quo is providing a number of buildup on the south campus on Eastwood Drive, where parents are picking up and dropping off from that particular location to avoid the conflicts in the actual drop-off area on the north area of the school. So we're actually looking to take traffic off the roads and put it into this pickup drop-off zone or this drive-through zone. Last but not least, we do have budget considerations. Our project budget is $675,000, which is actually quite significant for this type of project. But considering the implications of the project, the property, and some of the issues there, we feel this is an appropriate budget. To ensure the long-term viability of any of the improvements that we hope to make, the engineers forecasted through the year 2040 and assumed an appropriate amount of growth and maintained enrollment at the school. The white square charts indicate the amount and type of traffic at each respective intersection. These are difficult to read in this presentation, but the information will be demonstrated in some upcoming computers computerized traffic models that we'll show you towards the end of this presentation. So this is just to give you an idea of how the traffic study was conducted. Let's quickly review the final 3 proposals that met the bulk of the necessary standards for construction, or our golden rules. The first is entitled Alternative 4. The cost on this alternative is $288,000. It has several advantages that we need to consider. Increase the space for drop-off and pickup zone. This is not the largest drop-off zone. It's only approximately 650 feet. We hope to get about approximately 900 feet. This does reduce vehicle circulation in the parking lot, which is one of our stated goals, and improves pedestrian connectivity, and does provide for some additional parking spaces in the current parking lot. However, it does have some potential safety issues. Of the 3 final alternatives that we are considering, this is probably the least safe because you are entering the drop-off zone from a high-speed roadway, and there's also additional conflicts that need to be considered at that particular intersection. There's limited storage for the vehicles exiting the site, and that drop-off zone needs to be at least 900 feet long, and this only provides 650 feet. As I already mentioned, there's a conflict point of analysis. This particular new entrance would create 19 conflicts, 17 vehicle and 2 vehicle bike. Higher speeds on Wasatch Boulevard are a consideration. The speed differential between vehicles and bikes is something to be considered as well. Also, with respect to the fact that we currently have traffic awaiting on Eastwood Drive, this would not resolve those potential issues, as you will see later in the models. Alternative 5A is modified to offer another original alternative 5. The cost is approximately $670,000, which does meet our budget criteria. This has several alternatives. It does meet the criteria and provides the highest capacity of any of the drop-off pickup zone alternatives, and so it does provide the highest amount of benefit. It does reduce vehicle circulation in the parking lot, again another stated goal, improves pedestrian connectivity, and some other advantages as you see there. Some disadvantages is the potential vehicle conflicts on low speed, a 25-mile-an-hour roadway, and we'll show you that a little more extensively on the next slide. Limited storage for exiting vehicles, similar to Alternative 4, and concentrates traffic at an existing access. And there's a handful of vehicle pedestrian conflicts that need to be taken into consideration. As you can see from the walkway coming off of Wasatch Boulevard, that must cross at some point, the new pickup drop-off zone. As you can see, there's a total of 19 vehicle conflicts, but they are low speed. So this is slightly safer than Alternative 4 when that is taken into consideration. Alternative 6 is our most expensive alternative, coming in at a little over $900,000. It does have some advantages. The project need for the drop-off pickup zone is 900 feet. This Alternative 6 only provides 850 feet, so that's only a slight disadvantage. But it does have similar advantages to the other alternatives in reducing vehicle circulation and improving pedestrian connectivity and providing additional parking in the north lot. You can see some of the disadvantages that are listed there. One disadvantage that is not noted in the other alternatives is this requires a terraced roadway because of the steep grade of the property, which also is the reason the cost is so significant. I want to be clear that this drop-off and pickup zone does not enter or exit on either Eastwood or Wasatch, but only on that north portion off of the parking lot and the current entry to the school. Although the driveway does come close to those areas, it would not have any entry or exits to those roadways. As you can see, on the conflict point analysis, there's a total of 18 vehicle conflicts, but those are low speed. So this is our first simulation of current traffic patterns. You can see there's no alternatives listed on the project. You can see the backup coming off of that roadway into the current driveway. That's backing up traffic all the way onto Wasatch Boulevard. In addition to that, you see traffic buildup on Eastwood Drive, which is currently the situation. One of our stated objectives or golden rules is that we reduce traffic on surrounding roads and put all that traffic into the pickup drop-off zone. Once again, this is what we currently have. This is status quo. This is alternative 4's simulation. The PM is what we're doing the simulations off of because that is where we see the bulk of the traffic because people are waiting to pick up instead of just pulling up and dropping off. There's always a little bit more traffic than you would experience in the AM time period. As you can see from this alternative, the traffic backups onto Wasatch are eliminated altogether. However, you still do see traffic backups on Eastwood Drive on the south end of the property. This is alternative 5A's simulation. I apologize that the video software does not allow for the full alternative to be laid out, but the effect is the algorithm still works and the traffic patterns are still representative of what would occur. It's just a software issue in terms of how they put these types of videos together. As you can see, there are no traffic backups on Eastwood, Wasatch, or any other surrounding roadways. There are no traffic backups into the existing parking lot. And the bulk of that traffic is maintained in the pickup drop-off zone itself. This is alternatives 6 simulation. This is the one that comes in and out of our current driveway on the north end and loops down in the southwest portion of the campus. You can't see it again because of some limitations on the software, but the traffic patterns are representative of what would occur in surrounding streets and in the pickup zone itself. So as you can see, there's limited amount of traffic backup on the Wasatch. There is still traffic backup on Eastwood Drive. In reviewing these 3 alternatives, which again represent the 3 alternatives that best met the conditions of the project with respect to safety and traffic and the cost. As you can see, this is how well they met our previously referred to as the golden rules. This chart can also be found on your handouts and probably read a little easier there. As you can see, alternative 4 meets our cost objectives, but only minimally meets our safety and traffic objectives. Alternative 5A meets most of the objectives in terms of safety and traffic, and also meets our budget guidelines. Alternative 6 only partially responds to our safety and traffic objectives, and does not meet our budgetary constraints. This information is important for you to consider. These are what the district will be looking at in terms of prioritizing these projects, in addition to the input that we received from this evening's meeting. If you have questions about how this traffic engineering works, or how this study was conducted, we have a representative from JUB Engineers. This is his contact information. And he is is more than happy to receive your phone calls or your emails. We do have representatives from JUB Engineers here tonight, and you can also address your questions to them. Most importantly, to provide feedback to the school district on these proposed alternatives, we would request that you either turn in your handout form that has a little section that you can provide feedback on, to us in the designated box here at the school this evening, or you can just directly email us at this email address, communications@graniteschools.org. This information will be collated and received up and through November 9th, which is prior to the November 10th school board meeting, where we hope to be able to collate this information in behalf of the board. Once again, we would appreciate any feedback you could provide the school district. You can email us, or you can write your comments down this evening and submit those to us physically. Again, we appreciate your attendance and your time this evening, and would encourage you to go review the posters a little more in depth, or speak with district, county, or JUB officials and get your questions answered if there are questions that remain. Thank you again, and have a nice evening.